I want to lay something out for you. I want to show you something, if I may, that we predicted. I believe the date on this, I'll find the date for you in just a moment. But let's take a look. I would like to explain to you how Kamala Harris could very well be the next president of the United States of America, even without winning the election or the Electoral College. Now, when I said that, everybody started freaking out. What are you talking about? It's very, very simple. Joe Biden has become a pariah to the Democratic Party, especially. To make that happen, no matter who wins on November the 5th, you still have 2 months of a presidency that if they invoke the 25th Amendment, because Joe Biden is losing it, everyone knows it, he's lost it, he is literally unfit for office. So when Trump wins Tuesday, they will blame it on Joe Biden because of his garbage gaffe. They will say that's what gave Trump the White House. It is a possibility. I'm not prophesying, but I'm telling you it is a possibility that Joe Biden could be removed from office and Kamala Harris becomes the 47th president of the United States of America, being the first black woman president, giving the Democrat their dream. For 2 months, she could be the president, making Donald Trump the 48th president of the United States. Now, I really like that number because 4 plus 8 equals 12. And if you're a biblical numerologist like me, you love that number 12 rather than 47, which is 4 plus 7 equals 11. So just sit back and watch. That it would not shock me whatsoever if Donald Trump is the 48th president of the United States of America. Now, when we said that, and let's see the date. You can go to my Facebook timeline, go down to October 31st is when I gave that prediction that this was a possibility that could happen. No one anywhere in the internet world, in the interweb world, has mentioned that. But lo and behold, on November the 10th, a week later,
is looking for. That is my question. I'll start with you.
Joe Biden has been a phenomenal president. He's lived up to so many of the promises he's made. There's one promise left that he could fulfill, being a transitional figure. He could resign the presidency in the next 30 days, make Kamala Harris the president of the United States.
Whoa.
He would absolve her from being able to from having to oversee the January 6th transition, right, of her own defeat. And it would make sure that it would dominate the news at a point where Democrats have to learn drama and transparency and doing things that the public want to see is the time. This is the moment for us to change the entire perspective of how Democrats
Okay, this
operate.
has now jumped from an internet meme to a Sunday morning show.
Jamal's out here right now in a
Congratulations.
season of House of Cards.
I thought you were going to say, what about the Supreme Court? That's also out there.
Well, the Supreme Court might happen. I don't know if it
I told you so. Oh, I told you so. Now, when it makes it to CNN, all of a sudden, it's a possibility. When I say it, it's not a possibility. But remember, it was on this show where the whole world first heard about January the 6th, was it not? Tomorrow's news today. Now, I want to tell you, first of all, let's talk about, everybody was like, well, Joe's not going to do that. Well, Joe is in a pickle. And I want you to think about something. I'm going to put the pieces together for you. Where's all my smart students tonight? Let's put some pieces together, okay? And then I'm going to come back and tell you why I said this first before anyone in America, where it was coming from in the back of my mind. First of all, there is no one that Uncle Joe loves any more than Hunter. If you'll remember, Joe raised his boys, Bo and Hunter, without his wife. It was a very sad, tragic story. And so Joe and Hunter are close. And I'm fine with that. That's wonderful. I admire a father for loving his son. And how many remember that Hunter was going to get off of all of his charges scot-free? You remember that? And then suddenly, after Joe Biden decides to run for president again, against Obama's wishes. I remember I did a show, I told y'all Joe Biden was a bad boy because he was not supposed to run again. That was not Obama's plan. Don't y'all know Obama is flipping pancakes right now? But anyway, all of a sudden, Hunter now gets convicted and possible prison time. Now, why did all of that happen? Because Joe decided it was going to go away. But now Joe decides to run. So now, all of a sudden, it is Joe Biden's fault, if you will. It is his fault that these charges have now turned into convictions, and his boy could wind up going to prison. Now, guess who has the power to fix that? Daddy does. But Daddy's in a catch-22 because Daddy has already promised he was not going to pardon his son. Now, I just want to ask all of you an honest question. You had a son that was a drug addict, struggled all of his life, and you had the power to help him. Would you not use that power if, as long as he hadn't murdered anyone, blah, blah, blah? Of course. So Daddy's in a mess. He caused the problem for Hunter. If he wouldn't have ran, they would have let Hunter go. And now he said he's not going to pardon him. I wonder how else he could get a pardon for his son. Now, tomorrow, he meets with Donald Trump. And initially, I thought maybe him and Trump will do a little tit for tat tomorrow. He pardons Trump, Trump pardons Hunter, and all is well that ends well. But then why does Donald Trump need a pardon from Biden when he's pardoned already? Because he's the president. So how else can we get a pardon for Biden, for Hunter? Let me look at the comments, see if anybody has figured out how else he could get a pardon for his son. Robin, Harris cannot be the legal president of the United States of America. I've said it many, many times. She's not a natural-born citizen. But that would require months of court battle, which none of that would fall into place. She would go into office. It would just be under a court battle. That's right, Veronica Glover. You are the smart one, Violet Mountain. Kamala Harris would definitely pardon Hunter. Now, I want to take a moment. That's right, Christina Bebick. Put Kamala in. And that may very well be coming. But I want to show you another reason that I believed that this could happen. However, everyone listen to me closely, real closely. Everybody come up a little closer, a little closer. This is not a prophecy. This is a human prediction by just looking at the landscape, okay? But a week ago, I thought it would have to happen because of two reasons. Now, I'm going to show you why I no longer believe that that has to happen. It could still happen, but I no longer believe that it has to prophetically like I did a week ago. I have come into more information that I did not have a week ago. Bear with me. Oh, I know I'm confusing you, so let me back up. A week and a half ago, when I made that, I believed that it would have to happen. Now, I believe it could still happen, but it doesn't have to happen prophetically. Now, what do I mean? Listen closely and I'll explain. For the last 4 years, my mind has been firmly fixed on the Clement prophecy. However, before I ever met Clement, before I ever heard about his prophecy, I knew about another prophecy from another prophet of God. You see, I don't know of anyone on YouTube today that is a true prophet. But these two men I knew were true prophets. William Branham, Clement. Well, William Branham made a prophecy in the 1930s that just before nuclear war in America, there would be a woman president. Well, I know the timeline. I know how many years we are away from the beginning of the new millennium. And according to that timeline, and if you want to go know that timeline, go to my website and watch my teaching on Daniel. I believe it's called part 1 or the one right before that, but nevertheless. So knowing the timeline like we do in our church, I know how close we are to nuclear war. I know. I know. And so the prophecy of William Branham was driving me crazy in the back of my brain. I wouldn't dare think about it hardly because I had the Clement prophecy. I basically had competing prophecies. And I knew that William Branham was a prophet. And I knew Clement was a prophet. And yet one is saying that a woman's got to be president. One was saying Trump would be president. And this was all supposed to happen right before the coming of the Lord. So that's when I began to think, the only way that could happen is for Biden to resign and for Kamala to become the next president, pardon Hunter, and then Trump becomes 48th president, which sounded logical to me. Now, I want to play for you real quickly that prophecy from William Branham briefly.
Now, I predicted and said I saw a great woman stand up, beautiful looking, dressed in real highly royals like purple, dressed in real highly royals like purple, dressed in real highly royals like purple.
I predict this, that a woman will be president before we're annihilated. That's right. I said that in 1933 by vision.
And a woman will rise up soon in America and become a great person like a president or somewhere before the coming of the Lord, I believe.
Now, I predicted and said I saw a great woman stand up, beautiful looking, dressed in real highly royals like purple.
And remember, thus saith the Lord, there'll be a woman rule before the end time. She'll either be president, vice president.
Now, I knew that prophecy had to come to pass, okay? And so that's why I said 2 weeks ago, before anyone else in the world, that could happen. Now, tonight I'm telling you that could still happen But it doesn't have to happen for William Branham's prophecy to come to pass. Why? Because of new information that I have discovered. Let me share that with you. I did not realize, but I'm going to show you now. Kamala Harris was the first woman president in the United States of America. She has already been the president. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about what happened on, I believe it was November the 19th, 2021. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris became the first woman to be given presidential powers while Joe Biden underwent a regular health check. Miss Harris, 57, was the president for 85 minutes. And there is the number 13. Now, why is that important? Go back and listen to William Branham's prophecy. I didn't play it in that clip, but he says 13, 13, 13. He says, and this woman will be represented by the number 13. 13 colonies, 13 stars and stripes, 13, 13, 13, 13 tribes. And if you add 8 plus 5, there's your 13. She was the president under the number 13 for 85 minutes while Joe Biden was placed under anesthesia. So, that was information I was not privy to. She's already been the president. She indeed was the president, dressed in purple under the number 13. If you'll go to YouTube and listen to William Branham's prophecy, I didn't get to play this one. He said, and she'll be represented by the number 13. So, that prophecy is fulfilled. We have had a woman president, dressed in purple,